Hey, welcome to the introduction to UITableView series. In this project, we will create a new UITableView application. I call it Pretty Apple because I think that it would be cool if we use the Apple products information as the data source for this table view. So let's create a new Xcode project. So I will have a single view application and the product's name is Pretty Apple. Okay, and this language is Swift and devices is iPhone. Then I will have next. Okay, I will temporarily put it in my desktop. Alright, so the first thing we will need is the demo resources or on some of the files I prepared for you. If you see in the downloadable file, we have the table view resources that you can download to your desktop. And in here we have three folders. The first one is demo assets. On there is the products of Apple. I mean most of those, and we can use those products, use those images as our data source. And we also have a model. Inside here we have two files, and we will talk about those. The image is the default image in case we don't have any image for that product. So I will drag out the demo assets into this. And remember to check the destination to be copy items if needed. And finish. Okay. And also for the model, just drag it like that. And copy items, finish. And images, I will drag those two into the images.exe assets like this. Okay, so maybe I can delete that one. This like that. So the first one for the default is when you use on the non-retina display. I think most of those are retina now, but we will have to resonate for those. The 2x is for retina display. Okay, so let's open main.storyboard and see. The first thing I want to do is I will change the simulated display size to be 4.7 inch so that we have the tone and less width size of an iPhone. This is an iPhone 6. Okay, so over the document outline, I want to open and close it like that, and I will check the view controller. Okay, I will delete this view because I want my table view to be the root view. So I would search for table view, and here it is. I will drag out like that. Okay, so I will make the table view to fill the whole screen. And let's very quickly do the auto layout for that. I will check that one to pin it to the four corners. Okay, so maybe. Oh, okay, so the table view, the first thing we will need to do is to set the data source and the delegate of this table view. So the way we are going to do that is we will set the data source and the delegate of this table view to be the view controller. So I will control drag from the table view on the document outline to the view controller and release. Then I can set the data source and delegate. So let's set the data source and then delegate. Okay, so it is very common that we use a table view controller inside a navigation controller. So I will embed it, select the view controller and embed it in a navigation controller. Okay, and also I will set the simulated size to be 4.7. Alright, so right now the table view, our table view doesn't have anything because we will need to select that, and over the attribute inspector we'll inspect that table view. The content, it can be dynamic or static, right? The prototype cells by default it is 0, but I want it to be 1. Okay, so that's good. So let's select the prototype cell because we just have one prototype cell. Okay, so the style, it has multiple style. It can be basic, which is just have the title, the right detail, which is have that right detail, The left details is something I think that you use in the contact app. The subtitle is what we want here, the title and detail. Okay, so let me change the image very quickly over here so we can have a look at what the prototype cell would be. Let's change it into maybe iPad Air 2. Okay, enter. So maybe title to be iPad Air 2 and detail the best tablet on earth, things like that. Okay, so I will very quickly change the title of this navigation bar to be Pretty Apple. Okay, very good. So let's have a class connected to this UITableViewController. I will have a file, new file, and source on the iOS source, and Cocoa Touch class, and this subclass from UITableViewController, and I will name it Apple Products TableViewController, and click next. I will leave it right here. Okay, so it will create a new Apple Products TableViewController for us. So let's have a look over here. If you remember from the slides, we will need two things. The first thing is the data source, and the second is the delegates for this TableViewController. So the delegate is this controller, right? And the data source is something we will have to do. So first thing first, we will need to conform this Apple Products TableViewController to UITableView delegate and UITableView data source. Okay, so those are the methods we will need to conform to in this. So this will be the delegate. How about the data source? Well, the data source is the model of this view controller, right? We have the view, the controller, and the model. This, when you work with TableView, the MVC model will become really clearly. If you are not familiar with the MVC model, please check out my video on the MVC model design pattern. Okay, so we will need to talk about the model, the data source for this table view. I already prepared for you, which is in this model file that we imported. The first file we have is the product. So in this product file, it is a class, right? And it represents a generic product, and I intend it to represent a Apple product. It has the title, the description, image, and rating, and those things in it. You can init it with a new product. And also we have a product line. A product line represents for a line of products or category of product in Apple. Let's say we have the iDevices, which have Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, or iOS software operating system. We have Mac, which has a lot of things like MacBook, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, Display, AirPod Extreme, things like that. And also we have each of the product line, we have the name of the product line, and we have all the products inside that line. So notice is this product line thing is just the model of this. I just want to model the app, it doesn't have all the products in Apple. Okay, so let's use that model. I will open up Apple Products TableViewController, and over here let's have a var products, and it is an array of products. So I want it to be a computed property or a computed variable. Inside here I will have on the product lines, var product lines equals product line dot product lines. So this is a class method in the product line. Okay, if you look at here, we have the product line class function, and it returns an array of product lines. So for this first video tutorial, let's have the first product line. Okay, and we have product lines sub-0, which is the first product line, and I want to have all the products in this product line. So I will have products, and I will return it so that this, I'll return it like that, so that this product array has all the products inside this. Okay, so maybe I will increase the font size a little bit to be 24. Okay, I hope it helps. Okay, so inside here we have all the products. So what we need to do now is just populate some required function of this table view control. So like the first one, number of sections in table view. So each section is, you can think of it in our data source is one category. So right now we just represent one category. So let's display just one section. So the next one is table view number of rows in section. So it is the number of products in that line, in that product line, right? So I will have to return products dot count. Okay, and we also have to override this method called cell for row at index path, table view cell for row at index path. What we need to do is we will have to dequeue a reusable cell with this identifier for this index path. An index path it shows in which section and in which row in that section. Okay, an index path has the information of index path has the section, which section, and which row. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is the reusable identifier of this cell. So I will go over the main.storyboard and click onto this cell. It is our prototype cell. So I will inspect that, and the identifier I want it to be product cell. And we will need to be very, very precise here because we will have to refer to this as the string product cells. Okay, so I will change it here, reuse identifier as product cell. Okay, configure cell. Okay, so now we'll need to configure that cell. The first thing we will need to do is we want to know at this index path, at this position in the table view, what is the corresponding products inside this products array, right? So let's have that. We'll have let product equals products sub index path dot row, right? Because we have only one section and each section has multiple rows. So the one section is this array of products and the index is the correspondingly row, right? So now we can set the properties of this cell. I will set like this: cell.textLabel.text equals product.title. Okay, I use optional chaining here because the text here, the cell here may be nil. So we have cell.detail text label.text equals product.description, and we have cell.imageView.image equals product.image. Okay, that should be it. Let's run. Okay, I have an error and it's crash. So let's see why. We have terminating app with uncaught exception. Okay, so pretty Apple view controller table view number of rows in section unrecognized selector send to instance that. Okay, so it says it yelled at me because I haven't implemented those functions. View controller table view number of rows in section. Okay, we haven't implemented number of rows in section. So why is it? Well, we already implement those. Why it didn't recognize? Well, the reason is we haven't hooked up this Apple products table view controller to this view, right? Because we create a new one, but we never hook it up. So it is still view controller. I will have to select that, and the identity inspector. So the class I will select it to be Apple products table view. So now it should be good to go. So let's run it again in simulator. Okay, so we have pretty Apple. It runs. There we go. Very nice. So one thing you notice is we have that title, we have the title, and then the description like that. Okay. We also have the images, but the images is a little bit distorted because it is some images is quite long, some images is quite wide. So what we need to do is for the first few videos we will have to use that. But for the next few videos, when we use something called custom cell, we will customize this to be looks very great. Like we have a big image here and then some text down below.